Jordan, if I told you there was a website where you could order high grade heroin, forged passports, and hacking services as easily as buying a pair of sneakers on Amazon, would you believe me?
In 2024? Sure. But 10 years ago, that sounds like a Technicolor fever dream from a cyberpunk novel.
Back in 2011, it was very real, and it was called the Silk Road, a billion-dollar anonymous bazaar that proved you could run a global drug empire from a laptop in a public library.
Wait, so this wasn't just some shady back alley chat room? It was a full-blown corporate-style marketplace?
Exactly. It was the Amazon of the underworld, and today we're diving into how one man's libertarian dream became the FBI's biggest digital nightmare. Our story starts with Ross Ulbricht, a guy who didn't look like a kingpin. He was a former physics student from Texas with a passion for anarcho-capitalist philosophy.
So he wasn't exactly Breaking Bad in a trailer then. What was the mission?
Ross hated government overreach. He wanted to prove that technology could create a truly free market where the state had no power to tax, regulate, or stop people from buying whatever they wanted.
That sounds incredibly idealistic or incredibly dangerous. How do you even build something like that without getting caught on day one?
He combined two revolutionary tools, Tor, which hides your physical location on the internet, and a brand new obscure digital currency called Bitcoin.
Oh, so this is where Bitcoin gets its reputation.
Precisely. Before Silk Road, Bitcoin was a toy for nerds. Ross gave it its first real-world killer app, a way to pay for illegal goods without a paper trail. Silk Road launched in February 2011, and things stayed quiet until a Gawker article blew the lid off the site a few months later.
I'm guessing that's when the Amazon of drugs went viral?
Massively, traffic exploded. Ross took on the persona Dread Pirate Roberts, named after the character in The Princess Bride.
Bold choice. Does that mean he was planning to pass the mantle to a successor eventually?
That was the idea, but in reality, he was a micromanager running a site that facilitated nearly $10 million in Bitcoin transactions. He even created a TripAdvisor-style review system so users could rate the quality of their cocaine.
Customer service for drug deals. That's wild. But clearly the government wasn't just going to let him slide, right?
Not at all. A massive multi-agency task force, FBI, DEA, IRS, spent 2 years fruitlessly chasing ghosts until Ross started making rookie mistakes.
What kind of mistakes? You'd think a mastermind would be more careful.
He used a personal email address on a public forum to promote the site early on, and he reused a screen name he'd used for years. But the real craziness, the investigators themselves went rogue.
Wait, the cops became the criminals? Like a movie plot?
Literally. Two federal agents on the case, Carl Force and Sean Bridges, realized the money was too good. They started extorting Ross and stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin for themselves.
So the bridge between good and evil wasn't just blurred, it was completely gone.
It was total chaos. But finally, in October 2013, the FBI tracked Ross to the Glen Park Public Library in San Francisco. They knew if they didn't catch him with his laptop open, he'd encrypt everything and they'd lose the evidence.
How do you tackle a guy in a quiet library without him just hitting the power button?
They staged a fake domestic dispute behind him. When Ross turned around to see what the noise was, an agent swiped his laptop right off the table while he was still logged in as the admin. Game over.
So Ross goes to jail, the site shuts down, and the world goes back to normal. Or did this start something bigger?
It was the big bang of the darknet. Within months, Silk Road 2.0 quote popped up, followed by dozens of others like Agora and Alphabay. Ross created the blueprint.
It's the classic Hydra problem. You cut off one head and 3 more grow back in its place.
Exactly. Law enforcement had to rethink everything. They developed new ways to trace the blockchain and use cyber forensics that didn't exist before him.
And what about Ross? Did he get out?
No, despite a massive Free Ross's movement and some online rumors about a pardon, he's currently serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years without the possibility of parole.
That seems incredibly harsh for a guy who never actually touched the drugs himself.
It's highly controversial. To many, he's a political prisoner. To the US government, he was a digital kingpin who enabled a massive increase in drug deaths.
If I'm going to remember one thing about this whole saga, what is it?
Remember that the Silk Road wasn't just a drug site. It was the first time we realized that technology could be used to build an entire shadow economy that the physical world can't easily touch.
That's terrifying and fascinating at the same time. Thanks, Alex.
That's Wikipedia. Every story on demand. Search your next topic at wikipedia.ai.